I was like, guys, we're not doing Live Aid because like I'm not match fit, and it would have been in the way that it made a lot of people's careers, it would have ended out. So it's like, no, I'm not going.
So welcome to Smooth.
Thank you.
And it's good to see you back. And by the way, with a new album as well, SE18. SE18, that's the area, the postcode from where you're from, is it?
Yeah, well, it's where I grew up. I actually come from SE9, Eltham, but when I was about 14, I moved to Woolwich. So SE18 was where I sort of spent my most interesting teenage years.
Yeah. What can we expect from this album going? Because presumably when you're working on an album, you work on it for quite a while. So it's everything you want it to be by the end of it.
Well, I write all the time, so I don't necessarily sit and work on an album. I write songs every day. I'm always working on music. So I actually, this is coming out on vinyl and CD only, so it's not going to be streamed because it feels like it's time to have a different relationship with my audience, like things they can hold. They like records. And I think that the streaming thing, it's just weird what gets streamed. Last year, my biggest streaming song was The Crying Game. I didn't even write it. It's a great song, but I didn't write it. So I feel like by putting stuff out just on vinyl and CD, it's kind of old school. It means that people that want physical product can have a different experience with the music. And this record is, it's a pop record. It's a reggae vibe. It's very summery. It's very joyful, positive. It's, spreading really the same message that I started with. Really, nothing's changed. Here we are in a circle, having the same conversations we had 30 years ago. It's insane.
I know. Well, you say 30 years ago. It might be a little bit more than that now, if we're going to be
I think
accurate.
it's longer than 30. It's about 45 or something.
Thing is, though, was there ever a plan B, George, by the way? I mean, because obviously, pretty much your entire adult life, this is what you've done. We've known you since early 80s.
Yeah.
What do you think you'd have done had it not been this?
I think I'm lucky because I DJ, I make art, I do theatre. I'm very open to different challenges. I get bored easily and I like working. So I never, ever, like people say, you're tired. I'm like, no. Because I feel like, when I'm tired, I know how to do nothing. Put on Downton Abbey, watch it, But I love working and I'm very lucky to do what I do. I just get a lot of pleasure out of being me. I think when I was younger, I walked around with a lot more anxiety. Yesterday I went to the theatre and I had to go to this party and I had to walk down Oxford Street in full regalia. And it was so funny. Because most people are like...
You stand out quite a bit when you walk down the street.
Most people are like, just ignore you. But then you get people going, oh, you boy George. And it was like taking photos of people in the street and... You know what I mean? It's just getting over yourself is really a good thing to do, because it's funny people go to all this trouble to be famous and then they hide. And I think a lot of that is your own anxiety about not looking perfect. If you're out shopping, you got your sweats on, you don't want, now I just have a really open policy to everyone. I never say no to a photo unless I'm on the loo. I'll say, no, maybe not now, but I'm always friendly to everyone. I'm just not rude anymore.
I really hope no one has asked for your autograph or a photo while you're on
Once
the loo.
on a train in Japan, someone came in the loo and I was like, maybe not. Wait till I come outside.
That's not your favourite time to be asked, let me tell you.
No, wash my hands, come on.
I love the fact as well that you said that you're always like writing all the time. Do you carry around a little notebook or something if you think of an idea?
Do you know what? This morning when I was doing my makeup, I kept going, oh, that's a good line. Because, Christine, who does my makeup, is kind of a genius because she just comes up with crackers all the time. And, the trick is to kind of, when you hear something, oh, that's a great line, write it down. People always say to me, you turn everything into a song. But I'm like, that's what everyone does. But some people sit down and do it, in a writing session. But I'm doing it all the time. So if I hear a great comment from someone, I see something on a poster, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That could work as a chorus. So I'm always looking for not only things to write about, but also things I haven't written about. So what is there else to say? There's so much to write about that we stick to the rules a lot of the time, and I try not to do that.
But then I guess that's why it's important to mix things up and try new things. This is what you're saying. You're always up for doing something. I mean, documentary. That's exciting. And they just had the premiere just recently in New York.
In New York, yeah.
You weren't able to
I
go.
wasn't able to go because my visa ran out on the 30th, so I had to scoot out of America. But
that is the least glamorous answer to that question.
it's true. And Roy and Mikey were there, and they said it was hilarious because obviously watching it with a crowd, you know, there's a lot of humour. The beginning of it's hilarious. Then it gets a bit serious towards the end, you know, but the beginning is so funny, just like the one-liners. They found this footage of me, like before I got famous, where people are heckling me and I'm like, I'll get laughs, I'm going to spend the money on more makeup. Just hilarious, you know, because I forgot that, like, before we got famous, people were like, what do you look like, you know, and all that. And it was so funny. And then suddenly we became famous and people were like, oh, you're famous. But there was a lot of stuff that happened before that was hilarious, and they managed to find some of it. It's very funny to watch it.
That's amazing if you're doing a documentary and they do find all this footage. And in fact, I think the director said that she was surprised how forthcoming everyone was telling the story as well. But it must be quite interesting. It must feel, because it is quite a long time, it's 40 odd years.
Yeah.
It must feel like when you're remembering all these events that sometimes it feels like a different life, or that you've made it up in a wee bit way.
Sometimes other people tell stories and you're like, I don't remember you being the hero. You weren't wearing a cape when I was there. Like, people change history. But what you got to remember with, it's like, you know, the documentary isn't for me. It's not made for me. So I don't have to feel anything particular about it. I mean, bits of it made me very, like, sentimental, made me laugh. There was some things that I thought were really important. Like, they talk a lot about the bands that influenced me, Susie and the Banshees, Polystyrene, all these characters, a lot of women actually that I was obsessed with them when I was like a teenager. You know, so it was nice to see that talked about. And in fact, one of the funniest things in the documentary is I actually say, I'm a goth that ended up in a pop band. I wanted to be in Susie and the Banshees and I ended up in Culture Club. It is hilarious.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing because we've had some pretty good music out of it. In fact, it's interesting, and I think it's one of the things that we heard about, and it's come through the documentary, that you talk about Live Aid and Band Aid. And was it you that planted the seed for Live Aid to Bob when you were recording Band Aid?
Maybe, I don't know. I definitely don't think I can take credit for that, but the reason I didn't do it was because I wasn't well. I was a mess. So it would have been the worst thing I could have done. So I was like, guys, we're not doing Live Aid because, like, I'm not match fit, and it would have been in the way that it made a lot of people's careers. It would have ended out. So it's like, no, I'm not going.
So I mean, it's such a shame, though. It's such a shame.
It is, but you know, I'm kind of like very much about now. I don't kind of sit around going, oh, I wish I'd done that. I'm just excited about what I'm doing now. I don't live in the past. You know, it's just not, it doesn't exist.
I love the fact that you were treading the boards on Broadway, Moulin Rouge. I mean, when I think of you in that role, it feels like it's just a role that's for you. Will you do that in London at all?
I might go back to America. We'll see. I mean, you know, I need definitely a break from it because repetition is really good, you know, because it makes you, you know, better at what you're doing when you're acting. But, you know, there's a point where I'm like, I want to do something else now. So I'm going to be in Ibiza next week DJing. I just love variety and, you know, I get bored very quickly.
Yeah. I know that's the thing when you do a stage show as well. It's what, like 8 performances a week as well?
Yeah, 8 shows a week. But, you know, you get into the routine of it and, you know, you can't have a social life. Like, I saw more people from the UK that came out to see the show than I did of any of my American friends because you just have no time to socialise. Monday, every theatre is closed. You're horizontal. You can't move. I got Tuesday off as well, which was great. So, but on the whole, you're there to work, you know, and you don't have time to hang out with anyone.
Yeah. I mean, there's some great shows and great stars in them as well. So it's quite a nice environment to be in.
I went to see Nicole Scherzinger in Sunset Boulevard. That was great because it was just before I went back into Moulin Rouge. That gave me a real shot in the arm. I was like, wow, she was amazing.
She was good.
Okay, up your game.
Yeah, she is. I saw her a couple of times in London doing I found it mesmerising, the whole thing.
Yeah, I loved it. It was so good.
Yeah,
so
really,
good.
really good. I also want to talk about this summer. You're doing a couple of festivals, aren't you?
Yeah, we're going to be playing in Blackheath, which is kind of, you know, where I come from, but the posh bit of where I come from. The bus used to go through Blackheath, and that's where you dreamed of having a house. You know, it's like Blackheath. So my art teacher lived. So we're doing a big show in Blackheath. So that's like a coming home show in a way.
Yeah. Do you still love performing? I mean, is it something that as a musician, as a singer, that will always be like the highlight, the pinnacle?
I love it more than I ever did. I did 2 shows at the weekend, one in Germany, one in Denmark. And, you know, we haven't been to Germany in like 20 years. So, you know, we weren't expecting a big crowd, but it was just so beautiful. And it was like, sometimes if you're prepared for it not to be massive and then you get a surprise, you know, because sometimes people turn up on the night. It was fantastic. I mean, you know, and also I'm better at it now. You know, I'm not insecure. I don't kind of, you know, I know what to do. And I really enjoy kind of engaging the audience. And we play everything. We play old stuff, we play new stuff, we play covers. We really have a lot of fun with it. And you have to kind of just, you know, that thing of walking out and saying, oh, it's a tough audience. I mean, it's a ridiculous thing to say because not everybody can be tough, you know. But I think if you walk on with you know, I've got this, I know what I'm doing. And they see that because people love confidence. They don't want to feel uncomfortable. They want you to be enjoying yourself. And if you are, you can just hold them in your hand.
Yeah. And especially, you know, there's so much music out there to go and see. When people come to see you, you know they're there because they want to see you as well. So it must be really lovely to know that.
Yeah, I feel like for me, like trying to, like doing a new song is like, never say it's a new song. Just don't bother with that information because it's like puts everyone's backs up.
But it's funny.
Just tell them what it's called, tell them what it's about. Say it's off an album they never bought.
Because quite often you go to a gig, this probably wouldn't happen with you, and someone will go, it's the new song, and everyone goes, oh, sit down.
That's the thing, though. You've got to, you know, the thing is, it's like, it's really important to play new music. I mean, obviously, if it's not good, doesn't matter. But if it's good, and you engage the audience and you tell them what it's about, because there's no new music. Everything already exists. This idea that, oh, I'm inventing something new, you know, it's not. It's words and a melody, bit of guitar, bit of bass. It's not rocket science.
Okay, well, we'll hear your new music soon. SE18 is coming out. What's the rest of the summer got in store for you and the rest of the year, 2025?
A bit of DJing. I've gone back to kind of doing some of my DJ sets, which I've loved. You know, being in Ibiza is amazing. And it's also quite a young crowd. So it's great to kind of bring things. I get away with a lot because of who I am, so I can play things that cool DJs wouldn't play, like Britney. I can remix Britney and put it in my set. And you know, if you were a cool DJ, you would never play Britney, but the crowd love it.
Everyone loves a bit of Britney, don't they?
It's about like landing the biggest tune. Actually, last week in Ibiza, I've done a remix of Messy, you know, the Lola Young track.
Yeah.
It was insane. Everyone singing along. It was so great, you know. So I make a lot of the music I DJ. I make it so that I have stuff that other people don't have. And, you know, it's about reading the crowd, giving people what they want, but also educating them a little bit, taking them somewhere different, you know.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, so you're going to spend quite a bit of time out in the sunshine.
Absolutely. Avoiding the sun.
No, shush. How can you go to Ibiza and avoid the sun?
No, I love it, but I don't sit in the sun and, you know, I'm a little bit careful because, you know, I'm like, protect my skin.
Which is what we should all do. That's it. It's so lovely to have you back on Smooth. Thank you so much for coming in. Good luck with the album.
Thank you.
I look forward to chatting to you again. It's Boy George. Thank
Cheers.
you.